Today's discussion, it is about city life. Let's get started. So, in today's society, there are two groups of people. The first group of people is a type of people who loves living in the city more than living in the countryside. And another group of people is the opposite way. It is the group of people to prefer living in the countryside than living in the cities. Both have their own experience and their own situations. And in today's discussion, I am going to state my point of view about city as well as its benefits and the drawbacks. Let's get started. So, personally, I prefer living in the city more than living in the countryside. On the one hand, living in the city has its own benefits. Actually, living in the cities brings us many valuable advantages over living in the countryside. First of all, living in the city can grant us more job opportunities. You know, cities are very big. They are usually crowded with busy streets and a lot of people, flashing lights, etc. So, there are many jobs to be able to sustain and balance the financial state of the cities itself. Jobs in the cities are usually hard to get because they require a high level of education and academic. But there are a lot of jobs in the city that don't require those and are actually very easy to access and get into. That is why many people in the countryside they choose to migrate into the city to find better jobs with better salaries. And moreover, the diversities of jobs in the city life helps you to choose among the variety of selections and pick out the job that you think that suits you the best and give the best experience. Secondly, living in the cities means that you have the chance to meet many people, which means you can expand your own social network. In the cities, there are many people from different ethnic groups, from different countries, different nations, with diverse backgrounds, etc. So, when you meet them, you talk to them, you might find people that share the same hobbies as well as the same interests in all types of things in life as you. So, you might find your best friend here. You make new friends, expand your friends' network that might help you a lot in the future, as well as help your career to get into a next level, maybe help you to become more successful because of your friends. But although life in the city has many advantages, we cannot just ignore the drawbacks that it has. Living in the city also has many drawbacks. The first and most noticeable aspect is the pollutions. Living in the city has many pollutions. Air pollutions, thermal pollutions, water pollutions. There are a lot of them. Because in the city, there are companies that are formed almost every year. They burn fossil fuel and they produce the energy, which means that there are toxic gas all over the atmosphere, which causes respiratory diseases as well as skin cancers and many other diseases. And moreover, there is a possibility of crimes happen here. There are criminals in the hallway, in the dark hallway that you don't want to get involved to. There are also many problems here, such as drug selling or drug criminals. There are many of them. That is why many people choose countryside over cities, because countryside is just simply more peaceful. In conclusion, for me, I prefer living in the city than living in the countryside because there are more job opportunities. We can also expand our friendships and our social network here. But life in the city has its own disadvantages. It is the thirst, the criminals, the drugs, the pollutions, etc. And there are many patterns to prevent those from happening. We can put a limit to pollutions and enhance the city's securities. That's all. Thanks for listening. Tech is also coming. So I wish you all a happy new year.
The question, please.
Okay, when following your presentation, like you, many young students, many young people prefer living in a big city. As you said, there are many problems there like air pollution, water pollution, and many other problems. So, what can we do to attract more people to live in countryside? So that we can solve the problem in cities and we have a better life in the countryside to attract more young people here.
Sorry, I don't quite get the question. Can you please repeat it?
Câu hỏi của thầy quá dài, nghe không nổi.
Okay, what can we do to attract more young people to live and work in the countryside?
Well, personally, I think that there are many methods to attract young people into living in the countryside. The most obvious and the most useful method is to create more jobs opportunities here. The reason why young people choose cities over countryside is because in the countryside, there are not many jobs for them to choose here, and the cities are just more diverse in occupations, etc. So, creating more jobs and occupations will attract more young people from living in the countryside. And another addition method that I think might work well for the countryside is to create more some kind of natural attractions here. So we can attract young people to live here because of their own liking of the environment and of the countryside sceneries.
Okay, another question for you. How can we find balance between the busy pace of urban life and maintaining our happiness?
Well, I think that the problem of balancing between your city life, your jobs, and your own hobby and your own happiness is a very serious problem in the cities nowadays. And to solve that problem, I think that we need to have an actual schedule. Like most people in the cities live a kind of chaos life. They don't know how to organize their work, their happiness, and their own hobbies. So having an actual schedule will point out when to work, when to spend your free time on hobbies, your happiness, etc. And by doing so, you can balance and live a happy life even in the cities, which are crowded and busy.
Thank you.
Thank you for